If everyone could have a seat so we can start. Lou, sit down. Lou.
I got it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Boy, no one quiets a crowd like Jennifer Sutton. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for being here today to celebrate the history of Congregation Beth Yeshurun as our building officially becomes a historical landmark. It is truly an honor to be on the bima today with our Houston City Council representative, Abby Kamen, for this very special occasion. This event was set to take place in 2020. It has been rescheduled 3 times before we could finally gather together today comfortably and safely. For today's event, there will be several speakers, an incredible video, and a musical blessing from our own cantor, Rachel Goldman. The historical marker will be revealed towards the end of our ceremony, and Harris County Dedication Marker Chair Deborah Blacklock Sloan, Rabbi Strauss, and a small group of people will walk outside to our main entrance on the corner of Beechnut and Frankway. This will be a fairly short ceremony, and we will feature a live feed for the event right here in our Barg Sanctuary. So there's no need to leave your seats, although you are more than welcome to join us outside. Once the reveal is complete, we will have a beautiful dessert reception in the Pulaski Rauch Auditorium. So those are the events for today, and with all the details out of the way, I'm now going to invite our representative, Abby Kamen, to say a few words.
Thank you, David, and I know it has taken a few years for us to finally be here, but I think it was well worth the wait. And we were just talking about all that this congregation has been through, from floods to a pandemic, and I think that today of all days makes it that much more special that the history continues, and I thank the County Historical Commission for the recognition. I also really quickly wanted to recognize a few other people in the audience joining me. You'll hear from some of them, but of course our Consul General. It's wonderful to have you here and very special. Our partners at the county, Commissioner Cagle, and of course Congresswoman Fletcher, a good friend who has been in this area doing the work right alongside me, and we appreciate all of your support. Mayor Turner could not be here today. He is traveling on a delegation trip outside of the country, but he sends his best wishes and knows how important this is, not only to our Jewish community, but to the entire city of Houston. And with that, I very quickly wanted to read part of a proclamation. I'm not going to read the whole thing because I know we have several speakers, but if you'll bear with me just a moment while I read some of it. Whereas Congregation Beth Yeshurun was established in 1946 through the merger of 2 predecessor synagogues. Through its needs to serve both conservative and Orthodox Judaism, Congregation Beth Yeshurun has created a diverse culture in which congregants are free to observe the tradition they prefer, facilitating its growth as the largest conservative synagogue in the United States and the 2nd largest in the world. Congregation Beth Yeshurun's culture placed it at the forefront of national innovation. Its first senior rabbi, William Maliv, was renowned for his involvement in the conservative movement and was a leader in advancing women's ritual rights, with full equality subsequently achieved under Rabbi Jack Siegel. In 1954, Congregation Beth Yeshurun established its day school, and we have some of our students here today, which originally was the only synagogue-affiliated and operated facility of its kind in the U.S. Congregation Beth Yeshurun began assembling its new facility on Beechnut in 1959. The original 80,000 square foot building was one of the largest religious buildings in the South, designed by leading modern architects Leonard Gabert and Eugene Werlin to meet the religious, educational, and social needs of the congregation's more than 1,500 families. Since its construction, the synagogue has almost doubled in size to meet the needs of the growing congregation and continues to be a social and spiritual anchor for our community. The synagogue was recognized by Preservation Houston as a recipient of the Good Brick Award for outstanding contributions to the preservation, restoration, and enhancement of Houston's architectural and cultural heritage. Whereas on October 23rd, 2022, Congregation Beth Yeshurun will celebrate their historical landmark dedication ceremony. In recognition of this auspicious occasion, the City of Houston thanks Congregation Beth Yeshurun for its exemplary dedication to preserving the integrity of Houston's architectural and spiritual heritage and extends best wishes for a rewarding event. And therefore, I, Abby Kamen, on behalf of Mayor Sylvester Turner, hereby proclaim October 23rd, 2022 as Congregation Beth Yeshurun Day in Houston, Texas. So, David, I'm going to gift this to you on behalf of the mayor. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Abby. Wow, what an incredible honor for our synagogue. And I really don't know what more to say other than thank you so much to Abby for representing the City of Houston and to Harris County for recognizing Beth Yeshurun as a historical landmark. So thank you, Abby. And now I'd like to welcome our Beth Yeshurun Head of School, Jennifer Levine, and some of our Beth Yeshurun Day School students who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance as well as Hatikvah.
My friends, this afternoon, we think about all those who came before us. How happy and proud they must be on this afternoon. The building they worked so hard to build, the community they put so much effort into creating, is now being recognized by our state with this important designation. What this means for the future of our congregation is that this is a permanent place where Jewish learning, Jewish prayer, and Jewish community will continue to thrive for many years to come. I want to offer special thanks to Glenn Rosenbaum, who handled our historical landmark application with historical preservation consultants Anna Mott and Amanda Berry, as well as Gary Swartz. Our gratitude to the Texas Historical Commission for its grant of the Texas Recorded Historical Landmark designation, and tax credits for the post-Harvey restoration of our building, our spiritual home. We're also thankful to those who participated and supported this incredible historical video, which we're about to watch, produced by Douglas Newman, including Lonnie Schooler, Rabbi Jack Siegel, Rabbi David Rosen, David Stein, Aaron Rees of Warrens and Ames, Rona and Bruce Caress, Beth Yeshurun Sisterhood, Stephen Fox, Josh Furman, and the Rice University Jewish Archives, and Kaplan Musique of Judaica, Dean Mills, Vicki Richger, Jared Bloom, Andy Berger, and of course, David Bush and Jim Parsons of Preservation Houston, who also awarded Beth Yeshurun with the Good Brick Award just last year for our restoration efforts post-Harvey. And finally, and most importantly, a special thank you to our Director of Development, Jennifer Sutton. Please join me in offering gratitude for all those who made today possible. I hope you'll now enjoy this video, which I had an opportunity to see for the first time just a few days ago. And I hope and pray that all members of our beloved community will have an opportunity at some point soon to see this extraordinary video of the history of Congregation Beth Yeshurun.
On April 28, 1891, a charter of incorporation was filed for the purpose of religious worship of the Orthodox Jewish faith, and thus Congregation Beth Yeshurun was born. In 1895, a small structure with an adjacent cottage at the corner of Preston and Hamilton, near the present site of Minute Maid Park, was purchased. This was the first building in Beth Yeshurun's long history. As the Jewish community continued to grow, a plot of land for a new Beth Yeshurun building was purchased at the corner of Jackson and Walker.
At this time, Rabbi Wolf Wilner began his service to Beth Yeshurun, while also playing a leading role in Zionist affairs in Houston and across Texas. Support for Israel had become a hallmark of the congregation's leadership and activities for decades to come.
In 1925, the Beth Yeshurun Sisterhood was formally organized. In its first 20 years, the sisterhood sustained the congregation with fundraisers for the religious school and adult education department.
In 1924, a group of Jewish Houstonians seeking a more modern approach to traditional Judaism that would accommodate mixed seating and the use of instruments in worship, while retaining most of the Hebrew prayer service, broke away from Beth Yeshurun to form Congregation Beth El. The two congregations were ultimately reunited in 1946.
Through an innovative compromise that facilitated a merger of the two congregations, Beth Yeshurun was formed in 1946 to serve the needs of both conservative and modern Orthodox Judaism simultaneously.
In 1947, Beth Yeshurun's building committee announced plans to build a new synagogue and educational center on a 12-acre tract of land at Southmore and Tierwester.
Beth Yeshurun's synagogue on Southmore was an architecturally significant example of Art Deco design and is included in the 2008 book, Houston Deco.
In the fall of 1946, Rabbi William Malev came to Houston from Jamaica, New York, to serve as the first rabbi of the newly united Beth Yeshurun. He served the congregation until his death in 1973. Rabbi Malev was an ardent Zionist, active in civil rights affairs and in interfaith groups in Houston, and a passionate believer in the power of Jewish education. Under his leadership and guidance, the Beit HaYeled School for kindergarten-aged children opened in 1947. The Foundation School, now the Beth Yeshurun Day School, an all-day elementary education program, was inaugurated in 1954.
In 1948, Cantor George Wagner joined the staff of Beth Yeshurun. For 47 years, alongside organist Lanson Deming, Cantor Wagner conducted beautiful services and trained generations of Houston Jewish youth in the liturgy and music of prayer.
During High Holiday services in 1959, a $1.5 million building campaign was launched to enable construction of Beth Yeshurun's new state-of-the-art facility in Southwest Houston.
On May 14, 1961, a groundbreaking ceremony took place to celebrate the beginning of a new era of Beth Yeshurun history on Beach Nut Boulevard.
The Congregation Synagogue was designed by Houston architects Leonard Gabbert and Eugene Werlin. Leonard Gabbert was one of the first 3 architecture graduates of Rice University in 1917. He designed business buildings and houses for prominent members of Houston's Jewish community, as well as synagogues and temples in Houston, Baytown, Schulenburg, and Wharton. Eugene Werlin graduated from Rice's architecture school in 1927. Werlin designed many houses in River Oaks and Braeswood. He was architect for the Henke Pilot grocery chain, multiple Wieners and Danberg stores, Sackowitz's Post Oak store, and for Frank K. Meyer, Meyerland Plaza. Werlin's office designed the Miller Theater in Herman Park, alterations and additions to the Warwick Hotel, and the adjacent Meekum Fountain. L.M. Gabbert was the synagogue's structural engineer. LeBlanc incorporated the general contractor, and Robert F. White, the landscape architect. Beth Yeshurun is a work of modern architecture. It is not dependent on historical models or styles. The building's steel-framed roof structure, with its serrated profile, is reiterated in the projecting walls below, giving the synagogue its syncopated spatial rhythm. Inserted beneath the peaks of the roof gables are angled, high-set windows filled with stained glass by the San Antonio artist Cecil L. Casebeer. The Jerusalem metal artist David Heinz Gumbel designed the eternal light above the ark and the cast aluminum Hebrew letters of the 10 Commandments that flank Casebeer's central 26-foot-tall stained glass panel. The plan of the synagogue combines the sanctuary and auditorium in a single volume of space. Movable wall panels, normally kept closed to divide the sanctuary and auditorium into separate spaces, can be folded back into triangular brick compartments. Inside, the architects coordinated the curved rows of congregational seating, the angled pockets of wall space, and the downward slope of the floor, with the reciprocal thrust of the stepped bema platform and the subtle peak of the ceiling to animate the sanctuary spatially, while also creating a proportional feeling of breadth and calm. Tall mosaic glass tile panels by Casebeer frame the bema platform. The synagogue is a landmark of its time and place.
Rabbi Jack Siegel came to Houston in 1965 to fill the post of associate rabbi at Beth Yeshurun, and subsequently served as senior rabbi from 1973 to 1996. Under his leadership, Beth Yeshurun became the largest conservative congregation in the United States. Rabbi Siegel instituted many memorable new initiatives at Beth Yeshurun in the areas of adult and youth education.
In our new building, Beth Yeshurun made important strides towards the goal of gender equality. Following on the legacy established by Rabbi Malev, in 1975, his successor, Rabbi Jack Siegel, along with strong lay leadership, approved sweeping reforms to the synagogue ritual. Women could now be called to the Torah for an aliyah, lead services, and count in a minyan in the main service.
Expounding on the inclusiveness which began with Rabbi Siegel, Rabbi David Rosen, who grew up at Beth Yeshurun, returned to Houston to serve as the senior rabbi from 1996 to 2018, devoting over 22 years at the helm of the synagogue's pulpit to expanding ritual rites and equality to all, regardless of sexual orientation.
In 1972, Rabbi Isaac Tubin, an authority on Judaica and consultant to the Jewish Museum in New York, agreed to sell his personal artifact collection to Beth Yeshurun. The Kaplan Museum of Judaica enhances the beauty of the building and invites members and visitors to engage with artifacts that convey the richness of Jewish history and culture over the past 400 years. Chazan David Propus came to Beth Yeshurun in 1994 and served as cantor for 18 years. He was then followed by cantor Meir Finkelstein. In August of 2017, Hurricane Harvey flooded the entire Beth Yeshurun facility, with the downward sloping east end of the Barg Sanctuary becoming submerged under 4 feet of water.
Jews across the globe stood together in response to the devastation and destruction to our synagogue. With over $7 million in funds raised from Beth Yeshurun's members and supporters across the globe, including the State of Israel, restoration work began immediately and was completed in February 2019. Due to the flood remediation nature of the project, renovation of the property concentrated on restoring or replacing damaged materials. The seats in the Barg Sanctuary could not be restored and were replaced in kind. In the Greenfield Chapel, existing historic replica seats were retained, stripped, and refinished. Other in-kind restoration work included the refurbishment and replacement of historic exterior and interior doors. Historic aluminum and glass entry doors, circa 1962, featuring linear, decorated pools on the north facade of the main building, were able to be repaired. 8 pairs of interior historic solid core wood doors were all retained, carefully stripped, and refinished in light of their original nature.
Texas Historical Commission has designated Beth Yeshurun as a recorded Texas historic landmark, the highest honor the state can bestow on a building. The designation was based on the congregation's significant history, the synagogue's architectural merit, and the quality of the restoration. On March 25, 2021, Preservation Houston presented Beth Yeshurun with a Good Brick Award, recognizing the congregation's outstanding contributions to the preservation and enhancement of Houston's architectural and cultural heritage through the restoration of its mid-century modern synagogue. Both of these honors are noteworthy. In most cases, these recognitions are given to much older buildings, usually of pre-World War II vintage.
Rabbi Brian Strauss, who began as an associate rabbi at Beth Yeshurun in 2001, became the congregation's senior rabbi in 2018. He, along with Beth Yeshurun's clergy team, comprised of Rabbi Stephen Morgan and Sarah Fort, as well as emeritus rabbis Jack Siegel and David Rosen, exercised unparalleled leadership through the pandemic and on the heels of the synagogue's recovery in the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey.
Today, Congregation Beth Yeshurun is an inclusive synagogue that embraces the philosophy and values of conservative Judaism by providing a spiritual community celebrating the richness and traditions of Torah, prayer, and life cycle events. It is with great humility that I serve our congregation as senior rabbi and as a member of our Jewish community. I thank you for your support of our synagogue.
Good afternoon. I am honored and delighted to join all who are gathered here today to witness this historical landmark dedication of Congregation Beth Yeshurun, which is in the heart of Houston's thriving Jewish community and also in the heart of Texas's diverse and dynamic 7th Congressional District, which I have the honor and privilege of representing. As we've just seen in this incredible video from the founding of Adath Yeshurun in 1891, Congregation Beth Yeshurun has played an essential role in our community and in our community's history. From opening its doors and welcoming people after World War II, to establishing the first synagogue-affiliated day school in the United States, to helping achieve women's ritual rights. This congregation has led our community in so many ways, and I am grateful to be here today to witness its designation as a recorded Texas Historic Landmark. It is fitting and important that we do this today, especially at this moment in our history, that we remember, honor, and learn from our history, and lead with a vision for our future. So thank you, Rabbi Strauss and Congregation Beth Yeshurun, for welcoming me to be with you on this historic occasion. And I am so pleased to present to you, Rabbi Strauss, if you'd like to get it, a certificate of recognition of this moment. It's shorter than the proclamation, but just a certificate of recognition for the important role the congregation has played in our community's history on this occasion, and also to present to you a flag that has flown over the United States Capitol in honor of this congregation.
Thank you so much. Honored to have you here.
Good afternoon. I am so honored to be here. It's a beautiful day to honor this glorious building. And Jennifer and I can attest, we thought this day would never happen, but here it is. So I will cut straight to the chase. Whereas, since the inception, Congregation Beth Yeshurun has been a source of inspiration and guidance to area residents, and this recognition from the Texas Historical Commission is a fitting tribute to the steadfastness of its members and to the significant role the synagogue has played in the Jewish community of Houston. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the dedication of an official Texas historical marker at Congregation Beth Yeshurun be commemorated, and that all those associated with the synagogue be extended sincere best wishes for the future. And this is from Ann Johnson, State Representative, District 134. And Rabbi Strauss, you might want to come up and get these two documents. You might want to be planted here. There's more coming. I'm going to put on my glasses this time. Quit being vain. And so this next document says, ultimately, your enduring legacy is neither your beautiful building nor your distinguished history. It is the faithfulness of the Almighty and the freedom to worship together. As you receive this special designation as a Texas Historic Landmark, it is my sincere hope that you reaffirm your commitment to your congregation, to the Houston community, and to the Lord in the coming years. As you look forward to the promise of the future, I wish you every success. This is First Lady Cecilia Abbott joins me in extending best wishes, in testimony whereof I have signed my name and caused the seal of the state of Texas to be affixed at the city of Austin, the 6th day of October 22nd, Greg Abbott.
Good afternoon. My name is Cantor Rachel Goldman, and I am currently the senior cantor here at Congregation Beth Yeshurun. It is an honor to offer the Shehechianu blessing, which is traditional for us as Jews, to take a moment to thank God for keeping us alive, for sustaining us to reach this point. So I would like to now offer a Shehechianu in honor of this momentous occasion. Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה, 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 לזמן הזה, לזמן הזה.
And now, as we invite our dignitaries outside for the official unveiling of the marker, we invite everybody else to stay here in the comfort of the Barg Sanctuary as we watch the dedication on the live stream monitors.
Deborah, you need me there? All right.
So, on behalf of the Harris County Historical Commission and the state of Texas, we'd like to present the recorded Texas Historic Landmark for Beth Yeshurun congregation.
And so now I'd like to welcome Joan Katz to come join us up here. I'm Joan Katz. I'm representing Texas Jewish Historical Society. And this is how the certificate reads. Texas Jewish Historical Society certifies the recognition is hereby presented to Congregation Beth Yeshurun, Houston, Texas, on its location as a recorded Texas historical landmark. And for serving religious needs of the Jewish community of Houston and the greater Houston community through big deeds of social justice and moral leadership. October 23rd, 2022, 28